Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel where I will be crocheting it forward in this video by showing you my cozy mile a minute Afghan pattern. Now this is very similar to my other mile a minute with just some adjustments. I have incorporated the V-stitch right here, and then also for our join right here, and I'm sorry that you can't see this very good because it's a dark brown. Instead of doing 3 double crochets on our continuous join, I only did 2 because the yarn is it's so thick being a double strand. This is going to keep you warm. It's perfect for the weather we are now. I'm in Michigan and it's October and it's cold and it's going to get colder. So definitely going to be awesome for Christmas presents. And I also have created a scarf pattern with this, which is probably going to be my next video. So please don't forget to subscribe, comment or like, and share definitely if you think somebody would enjoy this pattern. It's very beginner friendly, and I just want to tell you that I did make for this specific Afghan, I made 48 of these rows going up, and it's really perfect for a baby Afghan. So you can certainly make more, and you can make it wider, you can make it as big as you want, but I will have the specific measurements in the comment section. As always, please always read those before starting your pattern. There's always clarification on some mix-ups throughout the video. So materials you're going to need are going to be a N or P 10.0 millimeter hook, some scissors, a sewing needle, and I am just using some worsted weight yarn for the video. So let's move that back. Hopefully it doesn't fall. And we'll get started with a slip knot. I love these blankets. They work up so quick. Perfect for last minute gifts. So we are going to chain 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And this is a double yarn video. I'm sorry, video and pattern. Excuse me. I'm drinking coffee and it went down the wrong way. So skip 2 chains from your hook, and into the third we want to make a 3 double crochet cluster. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and make your second 3 double crochet cluster in the same stitch. Okay, we're going to skip 2 chains, and in that third we're going to slip stitch. Okay, and the next chain we're going to half double crochet. Next chain we are going to slip stitch. Skip 2 chains, and in that third chain we're going to make that double cluster again that we did at the beginning, divided by 2 chains. There's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, chain 2, and then another cluster of 3 double crochets. Okay, now if we skip 2, 1, 2, it should put you back to your very first chain, and we're going to slip stitch to join. Okay, from here we're going to chain 2, turn our work, and you want it to be, you want these points facing down. You want them facing down. Okay, so you might have to turn it upside down. Okay, after your chain 2, we're just going to go in here and make another set of our double cluster. And that is, again, 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and 3 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet. Okay, And then from here we're going to go into our single crochet right there, our half double crochet, I'm sorry, and then make our V-stitch. Okay, now I didn't make a space in between my V-stitch right here because I didn't want too many holes, so I just put 2 double crochets. Okay, now we're going to hop right back into the next space over here and on top of our other clusters and make our 3 double crochet cluster. Sorry about that. Chain 2 and 3 double crochet cluster. The yarn is all tied up there. Okay, so we have 2 double crochets, we have our 3 double crochets, our 2 chains, and then 2 double crochets and our 3rd cluster. Okay, and then in our 3rd chain from this last chain, 1, 2, 3, we're going to just make our double crochet. So the first 2 rows of this pattern are the ones that are kind of different, but after this it's the same. It's a repeat of row 3. So we're always going, at the end of a row, we're going to always chain 2, turn our work, and immediately find our space right here in the middle of our previous cluster, double cluster in the previous row, and then just do the exact same thing. It's so repetitive, super easy. If you know your double crochets, your granny corners, this is how I also refer to it, as my granny corner cluster. Okay, and then go right to your V-stitch, yarn over, and then get some more of this yarn, 1 double crochet, and then 2 double crochets. Now this pattern will work fine if you want to chain 1, 2 for your V-stitch. In this pattern I did not. Again, it's because I feel like I just didn't want that many holes in there. I like the way it looked without that for this particular Afghan. So right from your V-stitch, we're going to hop right over here to your last space. So in going backwards here, the only spaces you're going to be working in are your cluster spaces, your V-stitch space, and your other cluster space. Okay, if you can try to remember that, it would be perfect. It will all come very natural to you. Two. Oh, what am I doing here? 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and then your second cluster. And then from here you're going to go 1, 2, 3, and that's where you always put your double crochet at the end of your row. Okay, so that's how it's looking. It might look a little wonky at first, but just keep going and it'll come together. Now I suggest that you make these chain 2s before you turn kind of loose, and then turn your work and immediately go into this. Again, in review, you're only going to be working in this hole, or this space, and that space throughout the whole pattern. That is it. I try to simplify it as much as possible so everybody can make this, but this is also a good scrap yarn project, which I'm going to do, and get rid of some of these little balls that I have everywhere and maybe incorporate it with the black or something. I'm not sure, I haven't decided yet. So again, 3 double crochets, a chain 2, 3 double crochets, okay, a V-stitch in our V-stitch, okay, and then hop right into our next double cluster. I have made so many of these blankets and given them out as gifts, late birthday presents. It just works up so quick. Like literally you can make an Afghan, a very large, maybe queen size, king size Afghan for less than $2. Less than $10, I'm sorry. Okay, do you see how you're always going to go to that 1, 2, 3, make your double crochet up here, chain 2, turn your work. So yeah, this is the whole pattern. So let me get a couple rows going and then I'll show you how to do the join. I'll meet you back. Okay guys, so I'm in my last cluster row, so I'm going to chain 2 and I'm going to turn my work and I'm going to make 4 double crochets. One, 2, 3, 4, a chain 2, and then another 4 double crochets. One, 2, 3, 4, our last V-stitch, and then go to the next cluster and then we're going to make 4 double crochets. Oop, lost a loop there. 1, really did it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 2, and then our last 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we will finish up with our last double crochet in that 3rd stitch. Okay, so we're going to chain 1, cut our yarn, and I'm going to go grab the other color and I will meet you back to do the second part right here. Alright, moving on to the second part of this video, which is just your standard mile a minute double cluster, which is right here. This is my white in this particular Afghan pattern. And also, before I get started, I want to clarify what I meant by you could make a queen size or a king size Afghan for under $10. That would have been, that's with using the Walmart brand Mainstays yarn. Those skeins are $1.97 each and they're 397 yards. So even doubling up on the yarn, you're going to get yourself quite a big blanket buying 10 of those for 5 of those for under $10. Now the variegated ones have less than that, so be sure to make note if you're going to use variegated in your Afghan. So the second part of this is again just my standard mile a minute, and I will also put the link to that pattern in the information box. So what I've done is I've got my second color on it. This is going to be a 3-color Afghan. You have your V-stitch and cluster color, then you just have your cluster color, and then you have your joining color. So we are going to chain 9 after getting your slip knot. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and in the 1, 2, 3, 4th chain from your hook, you are going to make 3 double crochets or a cluster, a chain 2, and then 3 double crochets. The circle can get pretty big. Whoops. Okay, and then now we are just going to slip stitch to the first chain. Okay, so these chains are going to count as your double crochets, so your ends are going to have 4 double crochets. At this point you want to turn your, well, you want to chain 2, turn your work, but flip it. So we want these points right here of chain 2 going downward. Okay, be sure you do that, otherwise the pattern's not going to turn out and it's not going to match the top of the pattern. So we've chained 2, and now we're just going to make 3 double crochets in our center space. I'm going to chain 2 and then grab some more yarn, 3 double crochets in that same space. Okay, and then the third chain right here, 1 2 1 2 3, just generally going to be at the top of a double crochet of the previous row. We're just going to double crochet. So the repeat for this pattern is probably the 3rd row. Okay, so we're going to always chain 2 at the end of the row, turn your work, and then immediately go into your center space and make another corner cluster again, which is also 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and 3 double crochets. Okay, and then we're going to count 3, 1 2 3, and it's always at the top of that last double crochet of the previous row, where you are going to end your rows with a double crochet. Chain 2, turn your work, and then that's a repeat. Make 3 double crochets, 1 2 3, chain 2, and make 3 double crochets. Okay, and then 1 2 3, in that one we are going to make a double crochet. Okay, one more time, chain 2, turn your work, make 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. And that's 1 2 3, 1 2 3, double crochet. Okay, so finish up however long you want this, and when I come back I'll grab my joining color and I'll show you how to join this cozy mile a minute Afghan pattern. Okay, so once we get the length of our strips how we want them, and again this is just a small version, we have to do one strip, your very first strip, we have to do the border completely, and then when you start attaching this way, then you can do like half the strip and then a join on complete half of the side and then join to finish the second side, because there's 2 sides. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start. It doesn't matter where you start, but you're going to start in one of the double crochets in the corners. So we have 1 2 3 4. That's where I'm going to start. Oh, that's my chain. Oops. And this is the slip stitches, I think. That's why I can't get in here. And I am going to do a airborne double crochet, or you can do a chain 3, whichever you're comfortable with, or a chain 2 and slip to the second. That is totally up to you, but we need to have 4. 1 2 3 4. So we have 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, 4 double crochet, and in these chain 2s we're only going to make 2 double crochets, a 2 double crochet cluster, which is really not even a cluster. I think it would be like just somewhat a V-stitch, but we're just going to make 2 double crochets, a chain 2, 2 double crochets. Okay, this is going to be the same for the other corner. Okay, now we're going to have to go 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, wait a minute. Oh, we have to remember that there is a chain that's going to be hiding sometimes a stitch. Okay, so we made that second double crochet, and then this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then this is where we started, so we're at the upside down V, and this is the single crochet. We're just going to make 1 double crochet. When we get to the other end over here, you're just going to make 1 double crochet in that V stitch, and then go on to your 4 on that side, and then the 4 before that. So that's how you do the other end. And then again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make 4 double crochets before you get to your center. And then this one is, you know, they're going to be kind of tricky. Alright, maybe if I go in backwards, there we go. That's our 4th. And then we make 2 double crochets because we're at the tip where that chain 2 space is. Make another chain 2, and then 2 double crochets. Okay, now we're going back down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's that hiding stitch. Sometimes maybe with your yarn it might be more evident, let's hope, but if you find that you're not getting 4, it might be because of that hiding stitch, and you do need 4. Okay, this is our 4th, where we slip stitch, and then now we're on our sides. So for our sides, what we're going to do is in these chain 2 spaces or double crochets, we're just going to make 2 double crochets. That's it. We're not going to do a cluster of 3. We're just going to do 2, and then you just move on to your next right here. Not this circle right here, okay, but the chain 2 or the double crochet, the real big spaces. And just 2 double crochets, and you're going to do that all the way down to your side until you get to the other end. Okay, skip this little tiny little circle here. That's a no-no. We want that one. Okay, and 2 double crochets. Okay, so I might as well just go ahead and do this with you to show you how it comes together. 2 double crochets. Okay, now we're in our last space on the side, and then we're going to get into the end clusters, which are the 4 double crochet. And I like to count from here because sometimes the stitches aren't always visible here, especially if you have slip stitches and chains going on. So I do 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know that is the stitch I'm looking for. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to do our 2 double crochets in that chain 2 space, chain 2, another 2 double crochets, 1, 2. Now we have to do our 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we're at our V-stitch where we're just going to put one double crochet so it'll match the opposite end, and then move over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Oops. 4, chain 2 in, double crochet 2 in that chain 2 space. Chain 2 and make 2 more double crochets in that same space. And now 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're going into our side. Hold on a second. Okay, and then again we want these big ones, not these little tiny spaces, but the big ones where you're going to put 2 double crochets. Okay, just like we did on the other side. Now go ahead and finish all the way down to your side, and I will come back with the other strip and I'll show you how to join. Okay guys, I just finished up the border from our very first strip, and again you're going to have to do one. You're going to have to finish one completely and then start attaching to that one. So make sure that when you do your layer strips out, if they're different colors, that the first one is the one that you want on the end. Okay, at the top or on the end. Let's see, if it's going this way, the one you want on your left. If you're looking at your strips and they're facing up, that's the one you want. So I got my other strip, and remember I said that we're going to go ahead and finish one side, and then we'll attach with the other. So we're going to go ahead and attach at the top of our double crochets, our 4 double crochets on the ends. It doesn't matter which end you start at. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and do my little airborne. All right, that didn't work out. Remember, I gotta hang on to it. 1, 2, 3, 4 with my index finger, and then trying to get around this camera is a little challenging. So, but I got it. So that's your first double crochet, and you're just doing the exact same thing as we did with the initial piece, making 1 double crochet in each of the 4. Okay, we're going to chain 2, double crochet 2 in the chain 2 space. We're going to chain 2, make another 2 double crochets, and then in your next 4 stitches make 1 double crochet in each stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now some of the sides are going to look a little different because you have slip stitches in there and chains, but don't worry about that. Those are not going to be visible when the blanket is done. Okay, so we got our chain 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our first space. So we're going to make 2 double crochets, just like we were with the cluster V stitch piece. Okay. Oh, you know what? I don't think it's the yarn or the crochet hook. I think my carpal tunnel is acting up a little bit. Skip this little tiny one and go into the next one if that helps. If you're getting confused on which space to make your 2 double crochets in for the side, just look for the really big spaces and not the little ones. Skip that little one, go into the next. Skip that little one, go into the next big space and make 2 double crochets. Skip that little one, 2 double crochets, skip the little one, and then there's that last big space. 1, 2. Should have probably worked in these tails, huh? So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our 4th stitch, so that's where we're going to make our first double crochet, or your first double crochet if you're counting the other way. Either way, we have to make 4 double crochets in a row. Now we're at the chain 2. We're going to make 2 double crochets in that. We're going to chain 2, make 2 double crochets. Okay. Now we're going to make a double crochet in the next 4, and then you stop, because that's where this is the point where you're going to join. 3, 4. Okay, so these 4 chains, these 4 double crochets are never going to be joined. Those are going to stick out of your blanket, but in that space after your 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that first space is where you're going to take this attaching the attaching piece, and then go in the front, stick your hook out of the back, and then slip stitch and chain 1, and then come back. Now you should be in your space, big space, and then we're going to make 2 double crochets. So after each of your 2 double crochets, you're going to chain 1, go into your next space in between the 2 double crochets in that previous piece, slip stitch, chain, come back. Okay, it's going to be a little awkward for a minute. Chain 1, go into your next space, slip stitch, chain, come back, make 2 double crochets. Chain 1, go into your next space, and this is so the 2 double crochets will be facing each other and matching, and they won't be uneven. 2 double crochets. 1, 2, chain 1, slip, grab your yarn, pull up a loop, chain again, come back to your working, skip that small one, and make 2 double crochets. I keep falling off the... I am using different brands of worsted weight yarn, so I want to point that out. This is not all the same. It's just worsted weight, different brands. So we finished our 2 double crochets. We're going to chain 1, go back, get into that space in between the 2 double crochets, chain 1, come back. Now we are at our last space on the attaching piece. We're going to make 2 double crochets, chain 1, and that's matching the exact same thing. We're going to slip stitch, chain 1, come back to the top of your first double crochet, and then slip stitch. Let's get our scissors, and there you have it. That's how you'll be attaching. And you'll notice that all of these, we're only matching the chain 2s. Okay, we're not matching these 4 double crochets on the ends, but right here they're all going to match, and they're going to be joined with a chain, a slip stitch, and a chain. Okay, so that's how you make it. I hope you enjoy the video. I'm sorry if I confused anybody. I am in the process of making some cowls and some winter scarves out of these mile a minute projects and patterns. I appreciate everybody's patience. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And together, let's continue to crochet it forward. Bye now.